Well, Cindy, I guess we'll go ahead and get started, and maybe some of the other will catch up here. So, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Got a couple of announcements. So, did you get an email from Mrs. Franchi? She is going to start working with students to develop your portfolio, and specifically like your resume, cover letter, and those kind of things. And we're going to do it Friday for your group. Some of the students will do it on Monday. If you're a B group, then you'll do that on Friday. She sent out an email, and in that email there's a few papers, so you might want to check that out. So when you get there, when it's your turn, you will know what I'm talking about. So anyway, give that a look. Anyway, I think it'll be a good thing, because we always like for students, by the time they leave us, we want you to have a fully developed. So when you go out in the world and apply for a job, you don't have to reinvent the resume every single time you apply. So you have one, at least a really nice example that you can kind of change up depending on what job you're applying for. So that's an important thing to make sure that all of the students do. Some of the year 2 students have already done that. And so if you have already done that, what she will do is just kind of go over that with you and help you kind of just make sure that it's as it should be and as nice as it can be. And that way we know that by the time you leave here, you've got a really nice resume and portfolio that will help you with jobs in the future. Okay, so there's that. So everybody been enjoying the cool weather? Man, I had to, one morning I came out here and I was wishing I had a heavier jacket.
I know.
So I know it's hard to know how to dress this time of year, but I guess we'll just have to keep a couple of different choices in the car and then just decide on that once we get going. But, well, what about Halloween? You guys got big plans for Halloween?
I have to work, but I get off at 7, so I figure we'll just come home. My daughter wants to get pizza. Usually it was a routine with us. We'd get pizza on Halloween.
That's fun. Yeah. So I don't know, with COVID, I don't know what everybody's plan is going to be for trick or treating. I don't know if people are even going to do that. I decided I was going to just put my mask on to the door, because the are all so cute. I can't hardly pass up not seeing everybody. So anyway, I guess we'll figure it out. But I guess they already have on masks anyway, so they can wear their mask and have a mask over that. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Definitely a different year for Halloween, but we'll be okay. So yesterday we had a real nice little reception for one of the ladies that worked here, Bonnie Anderson. She worked in our biz department for a number of years, and she retired last year and sadly passed away. And so we were all, and with COVID, we couldn't really have a funeral. Or their family couldn't have a funeral, that is, and so we never really got a chance to say goodbye to her and celebrate. So after school yesterday, we gathered, and if you notice when you walk in the front, there's a bench that has been put out there, and that's in her honor. And there's also a tree. If you kind of look to your right, whenever you come in the school, there's a real nice oak tree that we planted. And anyway, that's in celebration of her. She was just a wonderful lady and was always happy, and life's a party. And she always was in charge of all of our celebration events and decorating for everything. And anyway, we're all miss her terribly. And So anyway, it was nice to just get to celebrate her. So if you see that bench, I mean, I said that to say that the bench is to honor her. Anyway, so oh, and one more little housekeeping thing. Our next break is going to be for Thanksgiving break, and we get the whole week off, which is awesome, which I dearly love. And that is November 23rd through 27th. So you might want to pencil that in. But anyway, it's the whole week, so that'll be here before we know it. So that's good anyway. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. Oops, I didn't mean to do that though. I'm gonna share my screen with you, Cindy, and where'd it go? Well, I went this one. Let's see here. My stuff's not cooperating today. Oh, goodness sake. Why it's not sharing? Well, all right. Well, Cindy, I'm sorry. We'll just do it this way. For some reason, I'm not able to get it to where we can see each other's faces, but we'll try to make it work this way. And we wanted to talk to you today about combination cooking. You know, we spent some time talking about dry heat cooking, and then we've talked about moist heat cooking. And so now we're moving on to combination, which is going to be obviously a combination of both. So with this one, combination cooking may be we're using tougher cuts of meat, or it may be a larger piece of meat that requires more cooking time. So that those types of cuts of meat are probably better prepared in this manner. Braising, this is actually what we're going to do next week. We're going to talk about chicken with 40 cloves of garlic, and I think that's going to be pretty tasty. But we sear it in hot oil first, and it gets a nice brown sear on the skin, and then it has a bit of liquid in the bottom of the pan, and we'll get that going on top of the stove, and then we'll put it in the oven and let it braise in there. And the thing about braising is that it keeps things pretty moist, so that all of that, if we cook it with the lid on top of it, it keeps the moisture from evaporating, and that all of that beautiful liquid that bakes out of whatever hunk of meat that we're cooking just becomes kind of a sauce in the bottom of the pan. And a lot of times we will do something with that to make a sauce to serve with the meat. It's really quite delicious. So braising again is it takes a while, and some of those tougher cuts of meat, some of the beefy meats that again are a little bit tougher, ones that we couldn't cook really fast, the length of time that we're cooking those is allowing for that connective tissue to start to break down, and that meat becomes much more tender. It just gives it enough time that that it can be flavorful and again tender. And what we don't want to do is cook it too long, otherwise it'll just kind of be shreddy. So there's kind of that happy medium, but definitely want it's kind of low and slow, if you've heard that before. Okay, I thought this was a pretty interesting picture. And this is about a picture of what happens inside of like a Dutch oven, for example. A Dutch oven, remember, we've used that for a few things now. We've got that nice blue pot that we use sometimes, that it has a heavy lid and the lid fits tight. And so whatever meat and excuse me, meat and veg and liquid, whatever we put in there, pretty much the moisture stays in there because it fits tightly, and so it's not evaporating. And so the moisture rises up and kind of comes back down, drips back down from the top of the lid, and it just kind of keeps circulating like that. And so things that are cooked in that manner are tender and moist and quite flavorful. Okay, so again, that long cooking time is what's going to make things quite tender. Whenever you braise in the oven, it's a low temperature, around 200 degrees is usually about right, but it is for a considerable amount of time to get that that tenderness that we're looking for. So it's a low heat, low and slow. Okay, so the right cut of meat is really important for this. So something that something like fish, for instance, probably wouldn't be appropriate for this, but those bigger, heavier cuts of meat, like a roast, things like that would work really good. Again, that tight fitting lid, so that the moisture doesn't evaporate. We can add flavor to the meat. A lot of times you'll see that the meat, before you put it in, it may be dusted with flour and then browned in a pan and then put in the oven, and all of that stuff imparts flavor to that. Usually there's some type of seasoning or herb in there, and sometimes we'll use a flavorful liquid like a broth or maybe some cooking wine. And we usually start that on top of the stove, and then we'll put it in the oven. Sometimes we'll cook the whole thing on top of the stove. It really works either way. And again, it makes this delicious sauce that we can use to serve along with whatever it is that we're cooking. Okay, here's some dishes that you may have heard of that use the braising technique. Etouffee, which is a nice Cajun dish, and just good old pot roasting. Having a pot roast, you can cook either stovetop or in the oven. Okay. And stewing is similar to braising. The big difference is that we're cutting things up into bite-sized pieces, and we call that dish stew also. And so that is the big difference. The other braising are larger hunks of meat, whereas stewing, things have been cut up into bite-sized pieces. Okay, maybe you've heard of bouillabaisse. That is a fish stew, which is quite delicious. A fricassee. So goulash is a pretty common thing that people have heard of too. So those would be using the stewing technique. Okay, there's our bouillabaisse. So bouillabaisse, just a little interesting tidbit here, kind of came about from the fish purveyors or sellers that would be on the dock. The end of the day, what the fish that they had left over, they would take home and make a stew out of. So really, bouillabaisse can be any combination of fish in a lovely sauce. Okay, there's the fricassee. There's goulash. And a ragu. All right, sorry about that, Cindy. So I don't know why my PowerPoint didn't want to work the usual way, but a little technical difficulty here, but we did manage, didn't we? So anyway, for our next go round, we're going to make chicken with 40 cloves of garlic, which is, gosh, one of my favorite kind of fall and wintertime dishes. That sounds like a ton of garlic, but oh, it's just delicious. And all of the flavors together just make this wonderful sauce. And the chicken is really nice to serve it with rice. So it just is pretty delicious. And so I think we'll really enjoy getting to do that. Let's see here. You had a small assignment that was due Tuesday, which was that dry heat with and without fat. And there were 10 vocabs and 2 questions. So hopefully everybody got that done. And you have a new one on there for this week that'll be due next Tuesday. And it is moist heat. And there's 7 vocabulary words and then just 1 question. Okay, so we are just about to finish Culinary Basic. And we just have this combination cooking unit that we're finishing up. And so the end of next week, we will be moving on. And I thought we might do stock sauces and soup since it's getting to be cool weather. And so that'll be something I hope you guys will enjoy, because goodness, if it starts getting cold, that's all I want to eat pretty much is just soup. So anyway, I hope you, will enjoy learning about that and making some new things. So, well, anything else going on in the world, Cindy?
I'm just fighting with a cat right now. She's wanting in my lap, and I was like, leave me alone.
Gosh. Well, all right. Well, I don't have anything else, any news or anything else to tell you, and that was about it for the list. So I'll let you get off of here and get on with your day.
All right.
I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Cindy, and we'll make something and we'll have a good time.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Okay. Well, have a good one. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Too. Bye.